I'm Leah, and this is Darla, and we're here for our episode 9 Bachelorette recap. So let's talk about the rose ceremony from last week. So Jojo had us fooled that she was going to, take back what she said and take Luke home, but she turned out to do just that after he told her that he loved her. Now, Luke was personally my favorite, but, maybe he just wasn't as rowdy as she needed or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. But the look on his face, the fact that he was being sent home, was really, really sad. He was truly shocked, and it just was like, it was really sad. But her cry, I don't know if anybody else felt this way, but her cry seemed very insincere. And I just can't stand that, and it just was not cute. But she hurt Luke so bad, and he was so shocked, and when he got in the car, he was just like just deer in the headlights, and it was so sad to watch, and I know what that feeling is like, and it just paralyzes you. So Jojo was pretty confident in the last 3 men that she had left. Now it was Chase, Robby, and Jordan. Then they flew to Thailand, which is like so beautiful, and I'm super jealous. But Robby was the first date in Thailand, and Robby is now my favorite pick so far. He just seems so genuine. I didn't think he was maybe all that. I thought there was something weird with Robby, that he was too overly confident. But now, after having more intimate time on camera, it really showed me that they had really good chemistry and they're physically attracted to each other, and you can really see that in them. And not only does Robby come across as genuine now, he just comes across as such a sweet, loving guy in comparison to Jordan. I feel like Jordan still uses this as kind of more for maybe a publicity thing. I'm not entirely sure. Jordan's still not my top pick, but I did like Chase as well. But anyways, we'll get more into those guys after. But Robby's date. So Jojo and Robby, they went for a little market stroll and bought a couple of fans, and then it just started to piss rain. And I don't know if that's normal or whatever there, but it just downpoured, and then they started kissing in the rain, and it was all romantic, and then it was lightning. And it seems to, with those two, it seems to lightning and rain all the time. And it was romantic and it was sweet, and then it kind of jumped right into the dinner portion of the date. And I still want to know if they actually eat the food that's on the plate or if it's just for show. But Jojo looked amazing and Robby looked good, and they both seemed very, very happy. And Robby tells Jojo that he loves her, and he told her from early on that he loved her. And Jojo was very skeptical, but she did say that it made her feel safe. It made her feel comfortable and safe in falling in love with Robby, not being scared that she's going to get hurt herself, because this whole process is about 2 people, not just her. And she knows that, and she recognizes that, which is good. That means that she's not a selfish person. She really just wanted to talk about, her past relationships, what his parents thought. And Robby apparently felt really, really bad about the whole rumor situation that had happened. So much so that his dad noticed that he was really beating himself up over and stuck a little note in his back pocket. Now, Jojo read this note out loud to Robby as they were sitting at the table, and I assume that Robby had read it beforehand, but he really wanted Jojo to have that secure feeling of, what, my family knows how much I'm invested in this and how much I love you, and they see it. And he gave it to her as a security blanket, which I thought was super, super sweet. It was romantic and cute and adorable. And then they got their fantasy date card, which is, to me, is kind of always like, hey, you want to have sex in a card, but it's nicer and a little bit more romantic. But they got the card, and he obviously said yes, and they go to this fancy room, and there's champagne and candles, and it's all pretty. I mean, obviously they had sex. It was pretty, I mean, I think that always happens. So they start making out, and it was hot and heavy and stuff, and then they woke up the next morning with each other, and Robby was like, I love waking up to you, and Jojo was in this pretty purplish pink robe, and they seemed very happy, and they were having breakfast together, and it just seemed so sweet, and I could totally see those two getting married now. Like, Robby is my top pick right now. So Jordan's date was next, and they went on a hiking adventure. Yeah, they went hiking, and Jojo looked very sporty and cute, and I have the biggest girl crush on Jojo. So they started climbing up this mountain, and they both were overly exaggerating and acting on the whole. I mean, it looked hot there, but Jordan A is a football player, and B, Jojo is clearly fit, and they're both halfway up the mountain. That was a little bit overdone, I think. But they climb up this mountain, they go through beautiful caves, and there's monkeys, and it's so romantic. And they go to this temple, this sacred temple, and Jojo is very respectful. She put a long sleeve shirt on, and which I really gave kudos to her, because she respected the culture, and that's really important, especially when you're visiting someone else's country. And she just kind of, said, "Don't kiss me. Like, this is something that's not supposed to happen here." And I'm sure that there wouldn't have been anybody that would, hate on them for doing that, but she really respected the culture. And they had a picnic, and she really wanted to see if the two had more of an emotional connection rather than just a intense, romantic, passionate connection, which I thought was also great. That's why I understood why Jojo took him there, to a place of, where you can't kiss and you can't be intimate. You're just talking. And I guess that they had that. They had the fact that, they had this emotional connection as well. And, that's great. I think that's great for Jojo. If she ends up with him, I hope she's happy. But I just don't see it. I think that there's too many fishy little things going on with Jordan. I don't know. I don't know what it is, and it'll probably come out in the end, what happened with his brother, but I just feel like there's something weird going on with that. So Jordan and Jojo end up having dinner. And again, they're not actually eating. They're just talking. And Jordan says to Jojo, "I want to spend my life with you. I love you." And then she says, "That's what Ben said." So she's she still feels very nervous. Now, it could mean two things. It could mean A, that there's a reason why she's not trusting him, or B, she loves him so much that she just doesn't want to get heartbroken, and she's just concerned. And I understand that feeling. That's what I think. And I think it's more of she's in love with him, and she's afraid of being hurt. And so she asked the tough questions. She asked him, where do you see, us in a year from now? And he said, "I don't know." Stupid response, but he said, "I don't know." I feel like he's still at a point in his life where he's still bouncing around, and he's not stable. He's not staying in one place. And I feel like Jojo kind of needs that. I feel like she's in a place right now where she wants to have kids and get married and have the whole family life, and I don't think Jordan's there yet. Her response to his answers seemed like she was satisfied. So they go to the fantasy suite, and she's all excited because I think they're gonna all up in each other and stuff like that. But I don't think that I really just, coming from that date, I don't feel like there's that romantic, or there is that romantic chemistry, but that's it. I don't think that there's going to be a family, a big house with dogs and diapers and macaroni for dinner. It's not going to be like that. It's just going to be fun and casual, and it's going to be too hard for them. Next date is with Chase. Now, I really like Chase. He didn't have a lot of airtime, which made it hard for the audience like myself to get to know him. But I did like him from what we saw, and from what I saw with him and Jojo, they had a really good chemistry. You know, they went to a market and, you know, they were playing with fish. I don't really know why they were playing with fish, but they were. And he kind of went like this, and the juice of the fish dropped on him, and he made a comment, or she made a comment saying, "You smell like fish." And then I heard him say, "Well, no, you smell like fish," which is kind of an insult for a girl, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that date went really well. And they went swimming in the beach, they had a picnic, and he made a special toast to her, like, you know, let's toast uh, to where we've come and how far we've gotten into being here and being in love and blah, blah, blah. And super cute. And then it kind of goes to him sitting on the beach by himself and her in her hotel room kind of getting ready, which, I mean, like, I don't understand why they showed that. But then Robby, from the first date, comes banging on the door at Jojo's hotel room, is like, "Hey, I missed you." And it was so cute. Like, oh my gosh, it was so cute. But something that Robby said that really stuck out to me was, you know, not only the fact that he missed her and he came and saw her and stuff, even though he knew she was on a date, was something about coloring books. And it just brought kids into the picture, which made Robby seem way more sentimental. And it was so cute, and I really hope she picks Robby. But then she had to kick Robby out because she was still on her date with Chase. And they go for dinner. Jojo gives Chase the fantasy suite card, and he says yes, obviously. And he's ready. He's ready to tell her that he loves her. And they get to the fantasy suite. It's super romantic, blah, blah, blah. And Chase tells her he loves her. Now, coming from a broken family, he was super scared to tell her that he loved her. And apparently he hasn't said that to anyone. And he decided that this was the time to tell her and that it was going to be special and it was going to be right. And literally, like, seconds after he says that, she's like, "I need a minute." Goes outside for however long and comes back inside and boots him out the door. It was sad. You know, coming from a broken family, he just tells her he loves her and he's gone. Like he said, it's like pulling down your pants and saying, "Hey, kick me in the nuts." That's exactly what it was like. It was just like kicking someone in the nuts. I mean, I think. I've never been kicked in the nuts, but I would assume that's what it felt like. But it was just like, it was sad. And I felt genuinely bad for him, and she was crying, and I think she knew what she did was wrong. Like, she should have been open and honest with him and been like, "You know, I'm not feeling these feelings. Like, I think of you as a friend. I wanted to fall in love with you, but I couldn't." I think she should have told him that on the date rather than wait. And it really broke his heart, and I really felt for him. And the next day was the last rose ceremony of the freaking season. Like, holy crap. And it's Jordan and Robby. And they're standing there, and then Jojo comes walking down, and they're like, "What the It's Jojo coming down the stairs behind them instead of Chase." They had no idea that Chase was sent home early. So she goes forward and explains, "You know, I sent Chase home." And then who comes out of nowhere? It's Chase. And he took a really bold move, and he was like, "You know, I don't want the second chance. I just want to not end things the way we did because I respect you. I want what's best for you." And I really think that gave him so many brownie points with, like, the Bachelorette community, Bachelor Nation, because he was a man about it. He was a man. Yeah, sure, he was pissed off. I would be pissed off the way she handled it too. But he came back and he was smart and he did the right thing. And he left graciously and respectfully, and Jojo was all upset because she got all confused about her feelings again and went back and gave the two guys, Robby and Jordan, the final two roses. Now, next week, they will be meeting Jojo's family. Now, I hope it goes well for Robby because I really like Robby. But from what it seems like in the previews is that Jojo is completely confused. You know, whether, you know, she'll wonder what life is like with the opposite one. And of course that's going to happen because you're on a show, you're competing, you know, you have to pick one. You have to pick one. And, you know, obviously you're going to wonder for a little while what the life would have been like with the other one. But I don't think that's something to cry over. But we'll find out next week on the season finale of The Bachelorette.